Hey neighbor, woo, it's hot here in South Georgia. We probably had the hottest week we've had this year. And I want to talk about some things in the garden today. I'm going to show you the good, the bad, and the ugly, because we don't always show you the bad and ugly, but I'm going to do that today. Plus, I'm going to give you an update on our ADA, American Disabilities Act lawsuit. All right, so let's get a short tour here in the garden. We've got these landscape zinnias. Now, this is something we've played with this year. We don't know if they're going to be enough demand or not for these things. These are not cut flowers. These are strictly border type zinnias. I fell in love with them a couple years ago. I seen them at a trial out in Iowa. I love them, but we're growing them, see how they do. They performed really well here. The colors, man, I just love this yellow right here, but they are border type landscape zinnias. You will see them in some of your garden centers sometimes, but I want to show you something right here. This may help some of y'all. Okay, see this leaf right here? Let's get real close here. I want y'all to see how it's spotted up right there. When we see that this time of the year, when it's really hot, that right there is spider mites. See how it's kind of spotted up right there? That's a telltale sign of spider mites. We don't have spider mites in the springtime. We only have them in late summer and in fall when it gets really hot and dry. We're kind of dry right now. We're not in a bad drought, but we're seeing some spider mite damage. To control that, you really have to hit them hard to get the underside of the leaf there. But when you see that spot in there, the leaf there, think spider mites if your weather is hot and dry, especially hot. We see that a lot of times on azaleas. If you got azaleas and you get that spot in the leaf, they'll get so bad on there, you can see them on the back side. Spider mites are really, really small, but you can see them on the bottom side. The populations get built up so much here. So keep an eye on that for spider mites. We can get them on all different sorts of things. They seem to be worse on zinnias and azaleas than any other plants I know of. But anyway, I really love these right here. This may be some of these varieties we pick up for next year. We'll see. We actually grew some out as plants and sold them, and I just think they're lovely. They don't really have a purpose besides being pretty, but dadgum, they are pretty. I know you've heard me rave and rave, but I want you to look right here. We've had over 100-degree weather, and all these plants I'm showing you today have been stressed. This plant right here, to me, this year has just knocked it out of the park. It's done well in the springtime. It's done well all summer long. This, my friend, is Coco Marigold. Look how wonderful that plant is right there. It has no insect problems, and it has made these big, beautiful blooms here. This marigold has just blown it away this year. We carry it in 2 different colors here, but I have just been amazed how well this thing does. When nothing else thrives, this will thrive. Hot, humid, it loves it. Of course, we got drip irrigation. We've took care of it. But man, look at that. Let's cut one of these blooms. Now this is a cut flower type marigold. So it has a really strong stem there. Y'all, I know you've heard me talk about these a lot because I just raved about them all summer. But look at the size. Look at my hand there. The size of that bloom right there. Have these real robust colors to them. Now that plant right there, it's definitely a keeper. Of course, we got to have some okra growing. Now this is a variety right here. We just planted this because I grew okra all summer long to frost. This is emerald green velvet okra right here. This is variety I don't grow very often. It's a slender variety. Growing it this year just to change up a little different. I normally change up varieties every time I plant okra. Now a lot of our garden plants just can't take this heat here we have in August here. The ones I'm showing you today are winters. Top Pick Pinkeye, they have come up, they're doing well. Had a little bit of problem with white flies. I did have to treat them one time, but we've been able to keep the rabbits off of them. We did that by putting milk on them. We go over here in the afternoon and we'll put some spoiled milk. We'll take a paintbrush and we slap them on these leaves right here late in the afternoon. It's been able to keep our rabbits at bay because rabbits here are terrible. They've been eating my peas down, but so far I got them nice and they're growing well. So these are looking really, really good. They loving the heat, loving the heat. And then of course we got sweet potatoes here. Ain't they beautiful? Now all this is on drip irrigation, but man, sweet potatoes are in their world right now. Hot, they love it. Next thing you know, come fall time, we'll be ready to dig your sweet potatoes. A little tip here that I learned a long time ago. When you get ready to dig your sweet potatoes, if you'll mow those tops, make it a lot easier to dig those taters up. But we want to make sure that their taters are ready to dig. Our vines start going back a little bit. Right now, they're in tater digging mode. And I don't know if you knew this or not. These leaves are edible, so you can stir fry them up. Keep an eye on your sweet potatoes. They can get white flies on them real bad. We got a little bit of white fly pressure right now, not bad, but you definitely want to keep an eye on them. You will get a little worm damage here and there. See here, and this isn't bad. We'll get a little bit of that. But we do have a good bit of white flies. I actually sprayed them the other afternoon. I probably need to hit them again. Shake those leaves early in the morning, late in the afternoon. You see there's a few flying around there, and test and see how many white flies you've got. We just transplanted another crop of okra in here, so I got okra coming behind that other little patch up there. We'll have a constant supply here. We're actually, this plot here of okra is for one particular reason besides having okra. We think we have got an organic solution to root knot nematodes in okra. We're going to be doing some testing in the next 2 months here. And if everything works out, come springtime, we may have a solution to root knot nematodes in okra. If we do, that's going to be huge because we've had a terrible problem. Everybody that grows okra has a terrible problem with root knot nematodes. If we can solve that problem organically without using some harsh chemicals, it's going to be huge. Now we've got Caliente mustard, which is a biofumigant that we can plant in the fall. And that's a preventative, but we have to do that way in advance. That's something that you have to plan out for. This control I'm talking about is something that we can inject into our ejector, and it's a curative pretty quick. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Let's hope this works out. We're going to be doing some extensive testing to see if it works. Did I mention the ugly? Right here it is. This is a plot here that's gone backwards. It's eggplants and peppers and everything. It's time to get it out. We got to clean this up. It's going to be on our agenda today and tomorrow to get this cleaned up. We got some roselle on the backside. We're going to leave that alone because it's going to do fine. And we'll have roselle calyxes before you know it. But we got to clean this up. We got to, you know, I preached to y'all good housekeeping, and look at me. We let something get out of the way here. We're going to come in here and we're going to scavenge what few peppers we got left here because Mama Hoss is making some pepper sauce. And then we're going to come in here and we got to get this cleaned up, and we got to flip this bed, have it ready for our fall planting. We had some zinnias left over from the plugs we sold, so we planted them in our lazy garden kit right here. They're doing really well. We got the irrigation underneath that thing, and look here, it ain't nothing but just some pretty. There again, these zinnias right here, those landscape type zinnias, not cut flowers here. And we just planted the ones, the different colors we had in here. We planted them right here. We got some sunflowers behind me. Now all these colors I really like, but I do believe that double yellow right here is probably my favorite. All right, folks, we're in the plug facility now. I want to give you an update on these plugs here and show you something here that may help you if you're growing your own plants. But first, let's talk about the ADA lawsuit. So if you don't know, we're getting sued by a lady in Chicago. It's called an ADA, American Disabilities Act lawsuit. I got a video right here showing, you know, that I did earlier talking about it. But I want to give everybody an update on that. So in my last video, I said I was ignoring it and hoping it'd go away. Well, a lot of people commented. There was some people that was attorneys commented and told me that's the last thing I need to do. Don't ignore it. So I ended up hiring an attorney out of Michigan that handles these type cases. I didn't want to, but I did. Anyway, I had to pay him $2,500 as a retainer fee to get him started. And then I got an email just the other day, and the law firm representing the lady, the blind lady, they're asking for a $20,000 settlement. And he emailed me and told me they was asking for a settlement of $20,000. I told him in the email, it struck me wrong, okay? I said, I'll go to jail before I pay $20,000. Then I thought about it. I said, I'd really rather it be a minimum security jail. If I got to go to jail, I want to go to the country club jail. I don't want to go to the maximum security jail. The fact of the matter is I'm not going to have to go to jail over this. They'll end up putting some kind of levy on us or whatever if we don't settle or carry us to court. The problem with this whole thing, the attorney told me it costs $10,000 to start with litigation. That means if it goes to court, it's going to cost me $10,000 to pay him to start with. So anything less than that, financially wise, you think you'd be better off to settle, right? I mean, if you strictly talk about it from a money standpoint, you're better off to settle for anything less than $10,000, because if you go to court, you're talking $10,000 worth of lawyer fees, and then you're taking a gamble on the court process. Well, the fact of the matter is, it's wrong. It's wrong for this lady to be suing us for this ADA thing, okay? At the end of the day, you have to do what's best financially, and I don't like it. Don't get me wrong. I think it's wrong. What we're doing is we're enabling these people to do this kind of stuff when we settle out of court with them. And that's exactly what happens. What we should do is people like us in this business should come together, and we should create a lawsuit to the law firm suing us and sue them back. But it takes a good bit of money to do that, and it would take several different companies to come together and do it. That's what we should do, and give them some of their own medicine. But we may have to end up just paying this thing off and getting out of it. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I think it's wrong that we're doing that, but it's a money thing. So if it costs less than $10,000, we'll probably end up settling and just move on. Now, in the meantime, we've hired another company. This thing's just a whole money pit. We hired a company to help us get in what we call ADA compliance on our website. And this is really strange, some things we have to do. Well, I think we paid them $5,000 to come in there and go over our website and make these little changes and all this kind of stuff. It's just a dadgum money racket. But we ended up doing that, so we're in ADA compliance now, but still we're getting sued because this blind lady couldn't use our website. You know, a lot of people said this right here, and this is true. We got a wonderful customer service team. All you gotta do is call them. They'll put your order in for you. They'll help you any way possible. If somebody's really having that much problem, why couldn't they just do something like that? Well, here's the thing. This lady that's suing us, she's done this 17 times already this year, so it's just a money game for her. Is it right? No, it's wrong. Who do we blame? Well, you can blame the lawyers, but the reality is they're the ones profiting off some of this. But the actual blame should go on our Congress. Our Congress allows these things to happen. They pass laws to allow this kind of thing to happen. And I am absolutely sure that there is some huge lobbying groups out there of attorneys and lawyers that make their living doing this kind of stuff, that want everything to stay in place so they can profit off of it. And these dead-gum politicians are getting paid off and allowing all this stuff to happen. But the blame really should, the end blame should probably go to Congress and our politicians for allowing this kind of stuff to happen. Am I going to be able to make this change, little old me? No, but thanks for letting me in. It's something that's wrong. You know, we talk about small businesses in America. We talk about trying to help everything, and our government's doing everything they can to try to beat down the small businesses. And this is just one example of that, allowing people to do these crazy lawsuits against us and extort money from us people out there just trying to make a living. All right, enough of me venting. Now let's get on plugs. Thanks for listening on that. All right, folks, we got our lettuce, we got our brassicas, and we got a calendula down. I'll show you in a minute growing off. We're going to have these things ready in no time. I want to show you guys something right here. So we've had, I've had a little bit of problem getting my fertilizer schedule down pat, and I got a little bit of an issue right here. Now we're going to be able to grow out of this, but I want to show you guys that grow your own plants how to recognize something. That lettuce plant right there, and I'll show you more in the brassicas. You see how that bottom leaf and first two leaves are a little discolored right there? I did not fertilize early enough, and I got some deficiencies in these plants. Going forward, I'll know I have to fertilize a little bit quicker, but I just want to show you when you get those anemic leaves right there, it's a sign that you didn't fertilize early enough. Now, I've already started fertilizing. We got some new growth coming out there. Look, when this plug gets ready to ship, you won't even be able to tell this. But what happens is when our plants get anemic and they get starved, we start having some disease get on them. And if we had a nice healthy plant, it could fight off the disease. I'm going to find a brassica here, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Right here's a good one. You see those little spots on those first leaves right there? That is a leaf spot right there. Now, that is not necessarily caused, it is caused, let me back up, it is caused by humidity and things like that. But if I'd have fed this plant correctly, I wouldn't have that problem right there. So a lot of times our diseases on these plants here are caused by not feeding those plants early and soon enough and the right thing there. Now we're going to grow out of it, and that's going to be fine. Nobody's ever noticed. But me as a grower, I recognize those things, and I can tell I need to change up a little bit. Now this is the ugly part that, you know, sometimes we don't show you guys, but I'm showing it to you today. I messed up on that right there, and I should have fertilized these plants probably about 5 or 6 days before I started fertilizing, and I would have had nice green leaves. Those spots there will never go away. They'll always be there, but this is on these first little leaves there, and if we can, we'll do what we call grow out of it. These top right here will be wonderful and pretty, maybe a spot or two here and there, but they'll be pretty, and we won't never know those little first leaves there was infected. We had put a fungicide application on them, we're fertilizing, and we're going to be fine. But realize that when you do see those leaves, those first leaves, you can tell a lot about them, and you can tell if you got a fertility problem. Let me get another one here and show you and see some discoloration. Here's one. See that yellow one right there? And a lot of times we'll get purpling on those. See that purple outline right? We'll get yellow and a purpling on those first leaves here. That's a sign of a nutrient deficiency. Now, I don't have any leaf spot on this particular plant, but I have that yellow and that purpling right there. If you see that purpling, you know, or you see that yellow and you know you got a nutrient deficiency, get something on them quick. But we got all kind of brassicas. Everything's looking pretty good besides that. I do want to show y'all one thing right here. We're growing something in plugs this year that we're going to be offering. This right here is calendula. Now this is a cool season flower we have fell in love with. We love this. It doesn't do good this time of year. We're struggling in the greenhouse, having to keep it wet to keep it growing. It doesn't like these 100-degree days. But just as soon as this fall weather changes a little bit, calendula is going to be in heaven. It loves those fall and winter temperatures and early spring here. This plant here is Mama Hoss's favorite. It's got herbal qualities to it. She makes salve and stuff out of it, but it's just a beautiful, beautiful plant to grow all winter long, fall, winter, and early spring here. It does extremely well. We love it. We're going to have plugs available in a few weeks later. Look at those pretty roots coming through there. There's our grow coon right there, of course, but those roots are coming through there. That plant is starting to get a hold there. We're growing those roots in. In no time, these plugs will be ready to ship out there. But this is a Prince mix, so you get some different colors off of them, kind of a gold color and a yellow color there. Calendula, if you've never grown it before, folks, especially here in the deep south, you gotta grow calendula. It's a wonderful, wonderful plant. Now what I just showed you was my first plant. The second planting right here, I started fertilizing a little bit earlier. And you don't see those yellow leaves on those first ones right there. So we did a better job. I did a better job on fertilizing these right here. And these look a little bit better to me because we fertilized at the right time there. Just as soon as, and time is really important, just as soon as we see these things pop open, we had to get some fertilizer on them, and we did. And these look a lot healthier. And this is our sun hemp cover crop I showed you last week. It's growed over a foot in the last week. Now we've had a little bit of rain. It's just been perfect weather to it. Sun hemp is another one of those plants that just love this hot weather here. Needs a little moisture, but it just loves, it's in its prime growing environment right now with this hot, hot weather with a little moisture in the ground here. Blooming out, it's beautiful. We've got a big field over here. And what I did notice the other day, there's a wood patch down in the bottom. Got some deer living down there, and I'm pretty sure they munching on this right here because they love this sun hemp here. So overall, everything's pretty good. It is hot, and I'm looking forward to some cooler days, but everything's, we're rocking pretty good. We're going to be putting strawberry tips in, getting those stuck. We put those and we grow out our plugs probably in about 10 days. We're expecting them in the end of this month. And we got garlic coming in. We got pre-sales going on there. Of course, we got plugs. Our lettuces have really sold well. So if you're looking, we got a combination type thing where you can buy, I think there's 5 plugs of each type here. Those are really rocking. So if you want some lettuces, that may be a good choice for you. The weather is going to cool off in a few days, and it's going to be lettuce growing time. It's struggling right now, but it will cool off and we'll get back to garden. Fall garden is right upon us. Today is Miss Leola's birthday. She is 55 years old. Miss Leola is our lead seed packer. And I went there this morning and told her happy birthday. But I think I'm going to go pick her a few of these and put in a little mason jar and carry in there to her and tell her happy birthday. All right, folks. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.